Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I am Eric Ghoukasian, and I'm joined with Mr. Steven Tomazic here to kind of set me straight as he's the more experienced streamer at this point in time. Steven, good evening. How are you today?
Good evening. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Are you ready for some Monza mayhem tonight?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't bring that bad juju in here. No mayhem, just Monza loveliness. Monza lovely bumper to bumper, no collisions, no ridiculousness. We're going to be a clean lap one, all hunky dory, Steven. Positive energies as we are in the qualifying session. Again, sorry to disappoint. Eric Ghoukasian here, replacing Mike Noss. Mike got tied up with a little bit of work today, but we need to keep the show going. We have 10 minutes and 34 seconds left in qualifying. Steven, how do you feel about the race today? Don't say bad things. Don't say bad things.
I think we're gonna have a pretty good couple races tonight. This is the GT4 Rookie Series, so we're not gonna have the weather issues to tend with tonight. The skies have cleared and the sun is shining today here at Monza.
That's definitely one advantage that we have over what we saw in the race yesterday. Yeah, the the GT3 folks, yeah, a little aggressive, let's call them. We were a little bit aggressive, but we're not going to see that today. Again, positive vibes. Really excited for the race today. GT4s, wow, we're going to see some action, some close racing. Yeah, JP, no, you could be bumper to bumper with no collisions. It happens. It's a thing. It's normal. You know, we do it in traffic all the time. You know, with
Just giving them a little bump draft, right?
yeah, yeah, no crazy collisions. Yeah, I'm super excited. Let's do a bit of a mic check, an audio check in here. So whoever is in stream, if you guys can hear us, let us know how things are sounding. Hopefully everything is balanced. I'm hoping for a low stream incident stream today. So tried my best to double check everything as we started. And if I go out of line, Steven's here to get me back in check, as he's the best second streamer that we have here. And I don't know, maybe one day take some lead, huh? A little bit of lead, a little bit of lead. All right. While Steven looks for that lead roll, let's get ourselves into the stream, and yeah, let's see what we got going on in qualifying.
Yeah, so far, unfortunately, we were a little bit late in starting. We had some technical difficulties in the truck. So all of our even numbered drivers have gone out and set their relative laps. We're now having the odds coming out. And we're going to start off with the odd numbered cars. I don't know who's out first, but we'll see the number pop up on my screen soon, as the final cars are starting to come around Parabolica. And back onto the front straight.
Yeah, and I think I got the picture-in-picture set, Mr. Tomazic, so we can have that going as well. So, as you mentioned, we had the even numbered cars out already, with the odds now setting themselves up, and I'm pretty sure that's Jeff Franks out there in the lovely Porsche livery, getting himself ready for some action at the Temple of Speed in Italy, Monza.
Yes, and the first car to start making their circuit around the track here is Jose Guzman in the 129 AMG Motorsports Mercedes, and he invalidates. Oof. It was a little bit wide coming into the second chicane. So the next car that is on a lap is Shinky. Christopher Schink. I think I'm saying that right.
Oh, that's I think it's Shinka, but I don't know.
Question mark?
Question mark?
I'm sure somebody in chat will correct us.
I'm sure they will. And then, Mr. Tomazic, if I can ask you if it's possible at some point in time to go blank view on the PIP so we could have, not sure how you usually do it with Mike. We got your stuff set up here, all ready to go.
Nah, it's usually cropped out.
Okay, I got you. Can do that. Thank you, JP. We're counting the number of errors I make today, and that's the first one.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. We're doing this on the fly.
Adamant about having a good stream for you guys today, as best a stream as I can make it. Thank you, Devin Anthony. Welcome back, Devin.
Alrighty.
Devin Bitmaster Anthony here, sending us vibes. All right.
Christopher Schink has finally come across the line and dropped a 159.17, which was immediately overthrown by Omar Perez with a 157.7. That puts him into 5th place. The other cars that are out on track, we have Potts Weaver, who threw down a 158.365, and that got him up into 8th position. But there's definitely a lot of room for improvement for these drivers out on track right now.
Yeah, you know, how many cars do we have today? Oh my God, we have 31 cars out on track. That is fantastic. Love to see it. Love that after a split series, we still have so many cars in the Rookie Championship. We have many more that are now in the Open that'll be coming right after this. So we do have a doubleheader. We do have a doubleheader Rookie Series and then a double championship tonight with the Open Series coming in right after the Rookie Series. So really excited about that. Thank you, One Bigly, Jacob Church in chat. Thank you so much. And thanks for the follow from Oven20. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. And Kool-Aid Man 3000. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day wherever you are, getting ready for some GT4 madness here at Monza. I'm Eric Ghoukasian here with Steven Tomazic, ready to get the stream in its best possible quality for you today.
Work in progress, but we're getting it.
Work in progress indeed. Got a relatively new name, JB Ruzick, up here. One of the even numbers. That name's not familiar to me. Steven, is it someone that you've heard of in the Rookie Series before?
Yes, we had him in the last race last week, I believe. And the race prior as well. I was not here last week, unfortunately. I was caught up at work. But I'm here tonight.
And then looks like, hopefully I'm saying this right, Mason Pierzhalski? Yeah, Pierzhalski in P1. What a monster lap of a 157.350. We have a bunch of odd plates out there trying to beat that lap. Looks like the person who is most likely to do that is Omar Perez. Where is Omar right now? Let's see if we can get some view of this Mercedes going around the track.
Yeah, thankfully he missed that car that was stuck right at the apex coming into Lesmo 1, or coming out of Lesmo 1.
Yeah, good thing about people holding their brakes, that allows everybody else to go around them and be predictable about where they are as Omar comes into the last straight of the track, trying to make himself as quick as possible. Does he have any advantage right now? I'm trying to look at our data here. Looks like he's down a bit and slowing down a little bit more, maybe to get a really good run. Probably has one last run remaining to get this great lap in to try and see if he can pip himself a couple of positions higher up, maybe into the podium positions for this last lap that he's got going on. got quite a few people. We have some penalties that are served here. So for those that don't know, we have different rules in our rookie championship to really encourage safer driving on lap 1. So the first rule, and the main rule, it's split into 2 parts, is that if there's any contact in the previous races in lap 1 from the previous week, then you either get, depending on the severity of contact, you either get a pit start or a quali ban. So you start at the back of the race. And it's really meant for our rookies to take lap 1 super duper seriously. I think personally, as I'm a big fan of this rule, as most know, it really has put a huge focus on cleaning up the series. Even though it's a rookie series, you would expect everyone to just annihilate each other like you do in public lobbies, but I don't think they do. I think that the rookies do a fantastic job. What do you think, Steven?
I think they do a fantastic job as well. This is, like we keep saying, the rookie series is a learning experience for everyone, whether you're a straight out first time on the track driver in a league race, or you're a little bit more experienced and you just want to learn better entries, exits, racing lines, and everything like that. This series just helps out with a lot with that.
Yep, I firmly believe so. I think it's set up not only a really good championship here, but a really great community amongst these drivers. As we see Omar Perez dropping down into 7th place, is he going to be able to get a couple of positions? Yes, he is. Gets himself into P1 position. Wow, what a fantastic lap by Omar Perez, pipping Guzman by just 0.08 of a second. I think Mike's fact is that a blink of an eye is 0.2 of a second. Is that what it is?
I think that's what he says.
Yeah. Wow. Faster, almost 100 times faster than a blink of an eye. That is the difference between P1 and P2, ladies and gentlemen. Really competitive grid. We have less than a second difference between the top 10. That is going to be so much fun to watch. Yeah. Wow. Fantastic. We have 31 people on the grid. So that's going to be so much fun racing up and down the grid. And I know we have some of the fast people here with a little bit of a quali ban, but we are going to see them try to run through the grid as best as they can, as cleanly as they can, as we have 1 car remaining. Lizzie Alisea managing try to find a lap. Unfortunately, doesn't make it through. But yeah, ready to get onto the grid with this session start. Let's see what we got going on here. If we can find my mouse, that would be fantastic. All right, we have, wow, as we said, 31 cars on the grid. And if you don't know what time it is, I hope you will soon find out. We are ready to go for a grid walk, starting with Omar Perez in P1 at the Temple of Speed here at Monza, followed by P2, Jose Guzman, Jan Rodrix in P3, Potts Weaver coming in P4, Mason Przalski in P5. Mason, I really hope you let me know if I'm saying that right or wrong. JP Ruzick in P6, Dan Berg in P7 in the Mercedes, Aaron Miller following up in P8 in the McLaren, Will Metzer in P9. Sorry, I think I said Aaron was P7, but he's actually P8. Will Metzer in P9, Mike Freund in P10, Christoph Schinke in P11, followed with Devin Anthony in his traditional green, purple, and black Camaro. P13 with Jeff Franks in the Porsche, Connor Wallace in P14, Joe Khalil in P15, or Khalil, Zachary, this Polish name is going to be a tough one for me. I'm going to give it a shot though. Karzirik, maybe? Karzirik? Zach, let me know. You got to help me out with that one, brother. But that's P16 as the the dramatic stop to my failure of being able to say a name. P17, Austin Wall. P18, Rally Dutchy in another McLaren. Patty Doring in P19. Drew Freiberger in P20. Lizzie Alicea in P21. Steven Music in 22. Brock Franklin, 23. Maurizio Duque in P24. Scott Sullivan in P25. Usiban Umbanesk in P26. Matt Melanson, P27. Toth Arpad in P28. Alan Calvello, P29. Andre Zawinski in P30. And closing out the grid in the very back is Alexio Gappa in P31. Wow, what a fantastic grid we have here. And 11 seconds until we get the ball rolling here. This has been really awesome. I'm so excited to see what these drivers have in offer for us in this fantastic track, the Temple of Speed, Monza.
Yes, it's the Temple of Speed, and it gets that name because 85% of your lap is full throttle. There is a very small room for error coming into these chicanes around this track. A little bit more track information about here. This track is 3.6 miles, which is 5.7 kilometers. It was originally founded in 1922 with its current layout being used since 2000. It's located in Monza, Italy, with 11 turns, 4 of them to the left, 7 of them to the right. And the longest straight here is 1.1 kilometers or 0.7 miles.
That's a pretty long straight. Pretty long straight. So, they've gone through the deadly first chicane of Variante del Retofilo, going around Curva Grande, into the second chicane, Variante del Roja. These two chicanes are menacing, very inviting for contact. I'm putting out all the energy that I possibly can to all the drivers, those of you who may be listening, to proceed with legendary amounts of caution in lap 1 and proceed with due care and love and space and brakes.
Yes, and after Rogia, we come into the Lesmos compound, which is 2 right-handers, one right after the other.
I love these corners. You know, one of the things that's kind of cool about Monza, it's relatively easy to get fast at Monza, but it's really hard to get really fast at Monza. The lack of corners and the focus and precision that you need to get through them makes it difficult to find the little amounts of time to optimize and really get to those alien paces.
Yeah, the straights really do throw you off, and you have to be very precise with your brake points. Just a couple meters off of your brake point could be sending you off into the gravel trap at the end of the straight.
Yeah, and not just the break points, but also the curbs. The curbs are deadly. You know, some places like Curva di Lesmo, you know, in the first, you can't even touch the curb on the inside of the first Lesmo, and the second Lesmo, you have to cut all of it. So really challenging do's and don'ts and things that you learn as you go through with Monza.
Yes, a lot of do's and don'ts as we're now starting our formation into our 2x2s, getting ready for that no arc formation as we're now coming into the final turn of the track, which is Curva Parabolica.
The legendary Parabolica. Darren Thomas disagreeing with the easy to get fast at Monza. It's relatively. I mean, it's a lot easier to find pace at Monza than, let's say, Mount Panorama. You know what I mean? Like a couple of walls there to kind of, you know, put a wrench in the situation. But yeah, overall, I'd say that it's kind of easier to do so than not. All right.
Yes.
Go ahead, Steven. I'll give you the start here.
Alrighty, as we're now lined up, everybody's getting ready. We just entered the holding zone. We're getting ready for those green lights, and we're green, green, green. As we're now working our way down the front straight into the first chicane at Filio. Right now we have Omar Perez in the lead, but he has a drive-through. He jumped the start, so Jose Guzman has the net P1 position, followed by Potts Weaver, who goes off into the grass and touches Jose Guzman, almost spins him around, but everything's looking okay for right now. A little bit further back, we have some jockeying for position as Ruzik has gotten around Przalski. And we have Frund getting passed by Menser. But now we're coming around Curva de Grande. And now we're coming into that second chicane at Varrogia.
Looks like we got maybe 1 or 2 yellow flags in the back, but overall the grid doing pretty well to get through the first 2 or 3 corners as those pit starters start to try and catch their way back up to the grid.
Yes, and now we're making our way into the Lesbos complex. The 2 right-handers. Looks like Jose Guzman has a decent lead ahead of Potts Weaver. I'm not really worried about Omar Perez. He's a little bit of a non-factor right now because of that starting drive-through. But we have Potts Weaver trying to stay in that slipstream of Jose Guzman, but Guzman is just pulling away, and Potts Weaver is now under threat from Jan Rodrigues.
Yeah, that's you know, we've seen such a mass amount of improvement from Weaver over the past 2 seasons. Usually remember seeing him in the mid-pack a couple of seasons ago, but he's really upped his pace nearly to the point of outskilling himself from the rookie championships, and I'm sure that's going to come probably around the corner here. Really unfortunate for Omar Perez, and we see Lizzie Alicea down in the grid, also getting herself a pit start. Things that you just learn as a rookie. These ACC starts are really difficult, as Jose Guzman trying to get a long draft down that Monza straight, deep into the breaking point, into the first chicane, maybe a little bit too deep, completely misses the corner, and is going to try and find himself a safe entry back onto the track, loses that first position, goes back into second, third, fourth, and tucks into the 4th position now, giving Potts Weaver and Jan Rodrigues the benefit of going off that track.
Yeah, by going off the track there and not braking where he should have, like we said, being in that slipstream and then trying to pass along the inside here at Monza does not always work out. You have to remember that you have to brake a little bit early when you're on that inside line. And unfortunately, Jose Guzman forgot that lesson and sent it off into the safety road.
It's a good thing that safety road is there. We saw Potts Weaver in the first lap going really deep into braking, doing a pretty decent job of avoiding a major collision, but I did see some contact there, so I'm sure the stewards are going to look at that. So let's look and see what's going on. Esteban Umbanisk, lots of pace, coming in with a penalty, trying to make his way back up the grid. The Swiss driver here, oodles and oodles of pace in that Mercedes. I think the Mercedes still got a lot of advantage here. If for those that don't know, in chat, we do have all of the bop removed. We had an LFM bop that was there implemented for the GT4 championship, but we've since removed that from the latest update that we had last week, just to try and make things a little bit more fair, as we heard that ACC had implemented a new set of balance of performance for all these cars. So we'll see how that shakes out in a couple of weeks. But yeah, huge amount of battles as Esteban tries to make his way through. Esteban looks like he has done so. No, not quite. Wallace putting up a really good battle, but let's go back up to the front here. We have so many cars side by side. Oh my goodness, Ruzik does miss the braking point. The baseline car missing the braking point, unfortunately, but yeah, it's gonna slow down here. What a gentleman here, and get his position back to where he was, losing out a couple, of course, unfortunately, not timing it just right, but yeah, really good driving to avoid the collision there, and really sensible to give the positions back that he'd gained.
Oh no. Omar Perez completely forgot that he had a drive-through penalty and went across the line to start his 4th lap, and it
Oh.
sent him to the pits disqualified. Oh,
These are just lessons you learn, ladies and gentlemen. These are things that I've done before. I don't know, Steven, if you've gotten yourself into some funky situations from the ACC rules, but the ACC rules are the ACC rules, and you got to follow the ACC rules if you want to race in ACC.
yes, I have unfortunately been fell victim to that, as we have Jan Rodricks right now in the lead being hunted down by Jose Guzman. Pottsweaver has fallen back a little bit back and is under threat from Berg and Przalski, or Pierzalski.
Yeah,
Uh,
Pierzalski.
and Aaron and Aaron Miller is catching up to that gaggle.
Yeah, you know, Aaron was putting down some pretty good laps in practice that I saw. So really interesting there. But probably didn't get a good qualifying now, finding his pace. Now let's look a little bit farther down the grid as we have fantastic racing going through the whole thing. Brock Franklin on Maurizio. Maurizio here in P28. Brock Franklin just behind in P29, putting up a really good fight. Huge amount of draft that you get in Monza. Going into Parabolica. Oh, on the outside! Is it a bit too much? Goes too wide, unfortunately. A little bit too speed. That almost looked amazing, but yeah, carried a little bit too much speed. Gonna drop back now and trying to find his pace back up again to try and close up that gap. All in the meantime, Alan Calvello trying to make a little bit of a run at Brock from that mistake that he made, and is gonna do so. Going, looking on the inside, a battle for braking. Who's going to be able to do the better job? Both actually doing quite well to avoid each other, really close by. And Brock, I'm sure, is going to learn from that mistake and try to have another run at Maurizio the next lap around.
Oh no! I was watching the battle between Mike Frund and Chris Schenk, and unfortunately, coming into the second chicane, Chris Schenk just sent her a little bit too hard coming around that second turn and spun the car around, losing a bunch of positions.
As we see some of those styrofoam braking boards absolutely destroyed. Now that's going to be a bit of a challenge as you see the Porsche in the back going really wide. You know, that is definitely something that you have to pay attention to in these races. You know, for those of you who are a little bit newer to racing, a lot of what you do as a race car driver is memorization. Memorization on braking points, memorization on turn-in points, memorization on throttle points, and exits. And sometimes what happens is some of the brake markers that you have set, like let's say a brake point marker like the 50 in Lesmo 2, kind of get destroyed. And now you have to reset your expectations and reset your learning to try and find a new braking point.
Yes, you have to kind of relearn that corner all over again. Thankfully, there is a line going across the stretch of the track for the drivers to emblazon into their brains to remember, hey, there's a brake mark here. I could use that instead. As we have Devin Anthony getting spun around at the first chicane, unfortunately getting spun around by Mike Frund there. Mike Frund losing 2 positions and Devin Anthony losing 5.
Let's go
Ooh,
back.
and he's about to lose a couple more.
Let's go back and have a look at that, see what happened. Devin getting a good run into T1. Couple of cars. Looks like that's Scott Sullivan behind and Esteban. Oh, that's so close. Devin on the curb. Ooh, like a bit tough. I'm not sure if Mike Freund would have been able to avoid that, but again, something for Mike and Devin to have a quick, friendly chat about in our Monday Rookies. Another rule that we have here is we don't penalize the deeper laps, you know, 2 and beyond. We ask that everybody hop in chat and be friendly and ask whether they did something wrong and say, I apologize. You know, I think I hit you there. Let's be friendly. Let's sort this out and share our mistakes so that everybody can learn.
Yes, this is a learning series. So everybody here is learning. Me personally, being in this league, being in this series specifically, I have learned a lot by driving these GT4s. They really help you to learn your trail braking as well as your overtaking skills, since these cars are more mechanically driven and they have more of a stock car feeling to them as opposed to the GT3 counterparts, which are very aero based. As we have Przhalski making a move right now around Pottsweaver coming into the first turn, but takes that second part of the chicane a little bit too deep and pops over that sausage curb, allowing Pottsweaver, Aaron Miller, and Ruzic to get by, losing 3 positions there.
And we have a huge battle for P1 as well between Jan Rodrigues and Jose Guzman, both side by side through T1, side by side through T2, side by side through T3. Whoa, this is an immense battle, both driving the Mercedes. So that power advantage that looks like we're seeing through some of the other cars is not quite there between these two. What an immense battle between these two drivers. Getting huge advantages of drafting through the straights as Jose tucks in behind Jan, going down the straight again. Is he going to do enough? Already tucks out, thinking he's got a better exit, going the long way around here at the Curva del Seraglio. Yeah, yep. And then into the Variante Ascari. Again, side by side. Look at these guys. What a fantastic battle that we're seeing on track here. Still maintaining that side by side battle, but Jose managing to get himself right in front. And all the meanwhile, Berg trying to get in closer and closer as these two battle, trying to get advantage as much as he can as these guys waste each other's deltas, trying to find that P1 position.
Yeah, and a little bit further back, I unfortunately saw Jeff Franks spinning around over at Ascari, and he's lost a bunch of positions further back. But we also have here's something for you. Aaron Miller up into P4, got around Pottsweaver right there at Ascari as well.
Yeah, we're hearing reports of yet unfortunately another ACC bug. Hopefully that's not causing too much of an issue for our drivers, but for those that are paying attention, we're looking at some blue flags all the way down the field. If you apparently start from the pits, it doesn't count your first lap. It's an old ACC bug. Looks like it's come back from the update. Hopefully it gets cleared out. We really don't like seeing these issues, but yep, fingers crossed. JD, hopefully it goes away relatively quickly in a quick patch from ACC and Kunos.
Whoa, a little bit of a questionable rejoin there by Wallace. But we're moving back up to the front where Pottsweaver just lost another position as we see Przhalski send it off into the gravel at Lesmos 1.
Yeah, they were in a bit of a battle, but looks like that mistake from Przhalski. Przhalski is giving Weaver the position. Weaver looks like he's got some damage in the front of that McLaren, but chasing down Ruzic now. Got a bit of a gap, so some work to do still, but let's go down and see what's going on here. Another side-by-side battle between Joe and Steven Music. For those of you who don't know, Joe is a streamer. He's probably live on Twitch right now, so if you search ACC, I'm sure you're going to be able to see his first-person view in this fantastic battle between himself and Steven Music. Music ahead, Joe looking for that little bit of pace, whatever he can find, as Zach trying to get as much advantage as he can from these two battling. As we said before, when two cars are battling, there's a bit of a slowdown that's caused between two cars. And we see a battle in the front between Jeff Franks and Devin Anthony as well. Battles all around, side by side. Immense battles for position all through the grid. Joe not quite being able to manage. Again, got a little bit of a damage in the front, not being able to take advantage of that. All of the draft that he can get from the immense straights from Monza.
Yes, as well as here's a really good story as we have Umbanisk moving his way up into the top, the final position in the 10th place in the top 10. So he is moving up and is threatening right now Scott Sullivan in P9.
Umbanisk, let's see where he is. Oh yeah, huge positions gained starting from the back. But this battle between Doring, Zach, Joe Khalil, and Steve Music is immense. Really close to each other. Joe still trying to nipping at the heels of Steve Music in that Camaro.
Yeah, whenever I'm on track with Steven Music, I treat him as one of my top rivals. Him and I always seem to go tit for tat. Uh, we try and one up each other every single time we're out there, and he is a fun driver to race with.
That's one of the things that I absolutely love about having this community is that you do find those people that end up being your pace. You know, it just helps both of you progress as you challenge yourselves to improve further and further. It's really fun. It's really fun. I think it's awesome. I unfortunately I used to have a couple of those people, and now I'm way in the back of the grid. But Steven, I love seeing your progression. I feel like you've been getting faster and faster, just like most of these rookies have been as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun as we have side-by-side battling going into turn one here at the front of the field between Jose Guzman and Jan Rodrigues. Berg has fallen off just a little bit. Jose Guzman was able to keep that inside line and maintain the lead over Jan Rodrigues, but Jan Rodrigues is really battling hard to take this position away.
You know, got Pablo Navarrete in chat. Hello, Pablo. Welcome back. Yeah, that's, you know, it's something that we probably have to consider. Unfortunately, it's something that we found out about just a couple of minutes before the race started, but something for sure to be considered in the following weeks. Hopefully, ACC patches up these issues that we're seeing so that we don't have to, yeah, we don't have to deal with it, or just don't hit people in lap one and you don't have to deal with it so you don't get a pit start. How about that crazy suggestion?
That is a very crazy suggestion, but it's the kind of suggestion that we here at Trackalicious try to instill on all of these new drivers.
Yeah, you know, to be fair, for the most part, they do a pretty good job. It's just there are a couple of people that just have a bit more aggression than you'd like to see in a rookie series, given the rules. Yeah, version 1.9.8 coming soon to a PC near you, and at a cheaper rate to you, Darren Thomas, than to us.
And we finally have a lead change as Jose Guzman coming out of Ascari got a little bit squirrely, which allowed Jan Rodrigues to finally take that P1 position. And now, unfortunately, Jose Guzman has that slipstream coming down that front straight.
Well, you stick on that battle. I'm looking at Alexander Zawinski on Alexio Gappa. Just really tight battle here as well, and not as tight as the side-by-side that you're seeing in P1 over there. I think I'm getting a little bit of lag on my stream there from you, so let me pop into that race as well between those two drivers, as we have 1 minute and 41 seconds of this 20-minute race. But yeah, definitely, Pablo, something that we need to consider. I usually am, you know, the tough parent, the discipliner, and I'm more in favor of harsher penalties, but I usually get corrected or checked by the rest of the team here at Trackalicious and by the community. We always like to hear the voices of people and what they like and dislike, and try to take that stuff into consideration.
Alrighty, so we are now, I believe, on the final lap. We might have one more, I'm not sure.
I think we're gonna get one more.
Well, we might get one more, but this battle for P1 is heating up.
Jan and Jose going back and forth through this entire race. Fantastic battle between these two. Absolutely amazing that they haven't taken each other out. Really good racing by the two of them. Now, Jan getting that overspeed, that draft. Is it going to be enough? Jose taking that defensive line. Still a little bit ahead. Oh,
no! Oh, Jan turning in just a little too early. Sends him off wide out of Parabolica, allowing Berg to take that position away. But now we have this battle for P1 between Jose Guzman and Berg. Berg has been kind of off the radar here for majority of the race, but has the pace to potentially take this away.
That's a tough call, Steven. That's a tough call. I don't know where I would lay the blame on that one. You know, it could have gone either way, but I'm sure we're gonna have a look at it in chat and maybe have the stewards support that decision a little bit between the two. As I said, there are no penalties, but yeah, such a heartbreak to have seen such good battle through the entire race. But that battle's gonna change hands. Now it's up to Dan Berg to try and take it to Jose Guzman. Jose still in P1. I think there's a bit too much of a gap for that to happen. But yeah, I think we have some more battles down the field. Let's see what's happening here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think with Jan Rodriguez battling Jose Guzman so much, it kind of has taken Jose offline, allowed Berg to really just catch up with his pace. But with that send off, I think we have Jose Guzman taking the win on this one.
Yeah, there's a bit too much to make up for in the last lap of the race. But as I said, we do have another one coming up. So I am sure that there's going to be more battles. But yeah, John Hawley pointing out the Mercs just lights out. There's not even a chance. Yeah, supposedly ACC had a new BOP, but the Mercs seem that they reign supreme here at the Temple of Speed at Monza, as Jose Guzman a little bit wide, not the prettiest of corner, but does have the bit of delta to be able to make that mistake and get himself into that P1 position for the race one here at Monza in Italy.
Yes, followed closely behind by Berg, Jan Rodriguez taking that third position, last position on the podium, and Ruzrick, Miller, and Perchalski following close behind P6. Ubanisk making his way up at P7. That's going to set him up in the next race really well. Then we have Scott Sullivan, Potts Weaver, and Menser rounds out our top 10.
We do have a battle still brewing as they come through the last curve. Oh no, looks like Alexio Goppa goes wide. Not losing one position, but losing two positions. Was that? I don't know. I'm not sure who I was saying. No, it doesn't. Oh, Goppa looks like he's the car in front still. Yes, Alexander Zawinski just not having enough. 0.2 seconds behind Alexio Goppa, the Zimbabwean driver. Yeah, unfortunately not quite enough to get that done. But again, fantastic battles all the way up and all the way down the grid.
Yes, all the way up and all the way down the grid. So our biggest winner today in positions gained is Umbanesk, with 17 positions, followed behind by Scott Sullivan, who gained 15 tonight.
And with that, I'm gonna put in to the booth, Mr. Tomazic. That was some fantastic racing by all.
Yes, very fantastic racing. A lot of really good battles here tonight. I'm very impressed with the professionalism that these rookie drivers had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really fun to watch. And looks like we are waiting for the grid to go back up. Should be a couple of seconds here, and we will rejoin into our auto grid server here. Lovely battles, and looks like the server is already up for race 2. Let's get ourselves in there. There's so many servers, I don't know where it is anymore.
Nope, that's the practice server is still up.
I did see, oh, it is up. It is for sure up. There we go. There we go. Fantastic programming done by our community here. to be able to get ourselves to auto grid. So we have a 5-minute practice as we get all of our friends here getting themselves back into the server here at TRACKILICIOUS at Monza, the Temple of Speed. Again, hello everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a great day wherever you are. Eric Ghoukasian here, not replacing, but subbing in for, I think is a better term for it. Subbing in from the legend, Mike Noss, here with the other legend, Stephen Tomazic, in the booth.
Oh, I am no legend.
Yeah, you're a legend. You got legend status. You got legend status. Yeah, really excited. We just went through the first 20-minute session with our rookies, gridding up here for the second 20-minute session in our auto grid feature here at TRACKILICIOUS. Try to do as much racing as possible in as little time as possible. So to answer Pablo's question, starting order is indeed defined by finishing order for the second race. Pablo, one of the drivers who had originally entered the rookie series, just absolutely demolishing the entire grid. Go, oh, Pablo, we love you. You're pretty quick. I don't think you're right for the series. We'll bump you up to the open series and have you race with some seriously quick guys there. Yeah. All right. So, a couple of minutes here. We'll get back on the grid and see what the situation is with all of these lovely folks here at TRACKILICIOUS Rookie Series.
Sparrow says, go, Janetta. I don't think the Janetta is the proper vehicle for Monza.
Yeah, a little bit of power disadvantage, one might say.
Yes, it has the weight advantage, where it's only 2,400 pounds, but that 3.7 liter naturally aspirated V6 really, really does struggle on the straights.
Yeah, and Joe Cali official here in chat, if you guys haven't already seen, if you're looking for a first-person view of a driver who's looking for improvements every single week, let's do, how do you do this? Shout out at, is he still in here? Yeah, there we go. I think I did it right. I know how to press keys and make things work at Twitch. There we go. Check him out. I'm pretty sure he's live right now. I haven't looked yet, but that's one of the people that you can look at for a first-person view of what is going on in this race. I think Joe's kind of in the mid-pack right now, so it's going to be really fun to watch him battle ahead, battle behind, and see where he ends up through the race. If you want to stay here, you're more than welcome to. Yeah. Pranav, welcome our Hyderabadi friend. Well, our English friend with some Hyderabadi spice in him. Thank you, Pranav. Yeah, I'm just a rookie replacement. I'm the rookie here today. I'm just as much a rookie as any of these other guys are. Our pro right here, right there. Oh, we can even get this. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, repping, keeping me in check, keeping me in line as we wait here for another 40 seconds to try and get ourselves back into this craziness that is GT4 rookie racing. The real heroes, Steven, I'm sure you can agree, are the ones on track, the ones that take the risk, the ones that take the challenge and the chance to get on track and make themselves as exposed to the love of racing as much as all of us want to.
Yeah, I mean, this series has really opened my eyes in how to really race, and has actually made me a little bit more confident on the track as we're now starting our max wait time, which means we're about to go into the next race.
Yep. And you know what? I tell you, Steven, I used to want to battle with you. There's Steven. I can get him. I'm going to go after him in this race. And then you're like, just gone. Not even a chance. Really infuriating. I hate that you're so fast. I love that you're so
I'm
fast.
not that fast.
But I also hate that you're so...
You outpaced me though at Mount Panorama, Mr. Third Placeman.
Listen, that doesn't even count. I spent 2 months only driving Mount Panorama, so it's not a 1-for-1 comparison. Yeah, it was it was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I was preparing for a 24-hour, and while we are doing that, let's get ourselves back on the grid. Let me see if I know how to press these buttons. Oh, there. And let's see who we have on the grid and where they are. Alrighty. Looks like my screen is telling me something different than the screen in game. So I'm going to do something here. Let's do that. All right. So we are back with some sexy sax time, with Jose Guzman winning the first race in P1, followed by, come on game, do the things I want you to do, Dan Berg, the German in Bullet Racing Mercedes, Jan Rodricks in the Baseline Racing's Mercedes P3, JB Rusick in the Rusick Racing P4 Mercedes. The Mercedes are truly killing people here, just absolute annihilation, crazy fast. Aaron Miller in the Viper Racing P5, P6 with Mason Pierzhalski, P7 Osiban Umbanis, the Swiss driver, making himself all the way up to P7 from the last race, starting from the back. Scott Sullivan in P8 and yet another Mercedes. Potts Weaver in P9 in the Potts Autosport McLaren. We have Will Metzer in the P10 Camaro. P11 with another Camaro with Devin Anthony in the Rockefeller Racing Camaro. P12 Mike Freund in the No Color Aston. I'm probably missing a livery there. Followed by Steven Music, yet another Camaro. Freund finding himself in a bit of a Camaro sandwich. P14 we have Zachary Karjeric, maybe? Karjeric? Let's go with that. Until Zachary corrects us, we're going to go with that. Followed by Joe Kalyal in P15. Christoph Schenke in P16 in the Alpine, the OP car of last season, kind of getting a huge nerf into this season. Alexio Gappa in P17 with the Janetta. Alexander Zawinski, a Brazilian driver, in P18. Jeff Franks in P19. And then we have Austin Wall in P20, and yet another, quite a few Camaros on the grid here. Patty Doring in the AI generated lovely fusion of a color in P21 on that Porsche. Rally Dutchy in P22, Lizzie Alicea in P23, Alan Cavello in P24, Matt Melanson in P25, Mauricio Duque in P26. And then, wow, almost done here. We have Brock Franklin in P27, Drew Freiberger in P28, Toth Arbat in P29, and Omar Perez with the DQ in P30. Looks like we have lost a driver somewhere in there, but still a huge grid with Jose Guzman leading the pack.
Yeah, Omar Perez has a big ask from his team to try and move that car back up into that top 10. I think he'll be able to do it and get some points. But with Jose Guzman at the front of the field and Berg and Jan Rodricks, that's going to be a tall tale to try and catch up to this front pack.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of issue with my data here showing Omar Perez in P1, which simply is not true. Hopefully that clears up as we go through this outlap. Yeah, yet another 30-car grid, a huge grid for GT4s nonetheless. Yeah, Arpa did have a pit start penalty for race 2. Unfortunately, despite the fact that we try our best to discourage contacts in lap 1, we see them more often than I would like personally. But hey, they're gotta learn their lesson sooner than later. Don't you think so, Steven?
Yeah.
I would hate to start from the pits every race.
Uh, Sometimes starting from the pits can save you, especially here at Monza. You miss the kerfuffle of what's known as the Monza T1 mayhem.
Which we didn't have in the first race. Credit to
We
all
did
the
not have it in
drivers.
the race. We did not have it in the first race. There was a little bit of bumping and banging, but we're doing all right.
Yeah. How is everybody in chat doing tonight? I feel like we haven't had any chat engagement from us, at least. How is everyone doing? Okay, let's ask this question. Which driver are you here to support? Who do you want to see make the biggest progress during the race here? Xander Zone, yep, absolutely. No heroics into T1. I second that.
Yeah, we already have Ruthless in chat cheering on Lizzie Alisea, as well as Darren Thomas now throwing out the shout out to Lizzie.
There we go. Huge Lizzie fans as we make ourselves into the 2x2 formation, getting ready for the epic start at Monza as everybody makes their way into one of the most challenging corners in all of racing, T1 at Monza. Supporter for Alan. The tension building as the nerves rack up here. Jose Guzman in P1, Berg in P2. Are they going to be able to keep things clean? And we have green, go at Monza into the long straight. Then making their way into T1. Looks like everybody made away relatively well. Jan looks like he got a pretty good start with a little bit of draft behind Jose. Looking to potentially make a move, thinks better of it, but gets on the inside of Dan. A lot of overlap, reasonably so. Them going by side into the all of T1. A little bit of a wiggle by Jan. Loses that position back into P3. Gives Jose Guzman quite a bit of gap to make his way away from the pack. Jan now tucking behind potentially a teammate. They have a same livery. Tucking behind Rozic into P4.
Yeah, I believe these two are teammates. They're rocking the same livery, just different color schemes. And like you said, Jan Roderick's unfortunately getting a little bit squirrely coming out of the first chicane. Dipping the tires into that gravel has really slowed his car down and has now put him under threat of his own teammate.
Oh, looks like we have a bit of mayhem in the back. I'm sure our stewards are going to look at that. Lizzie might have been caught up into something funky back there. Whether it was on her or not, we can find out. Let's go back and do a quick replay and see what is happening here.
Yeah, it kind of looked like everybody bunched up on the exit coming out of the second chicane, and it just turned into a big pileup. Some cars getting spun around, some cars getting hit head on. Unfortunately, that's one of the unfortunate things about this track is known for.
Yeah, it looks like most of the grid made their way through fairly well, but actually Lizzie doing the smart thing of going around the incident as opposed to into it. Good job, Lizzie Alisea. You have shown some impressive improvement through the seasons. All right, what else do we have going on here? I can tell you that my support data is absolutely upside down right now.
Let's try a disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, we already did that, but
whoa! Oh no, we have Pershowski getting hit by Scott Sullivan. Scott Sullivan completely missing his brake point and T-bones right into Pershowski.
Scott is usually better than that, but alas, it is a rookie series. People do make mistakes. Unfortunately, it looks like Scott was one of the ones that making a mistake today. So hopefully we see some improvement from him in not doing that again.
Oof. That Mercedes and that Porsche are no longer showroom ready. Oh, you hate to see it.
Steven, we have an uninvited guest here at the Trackalicious headquarters. A certain
We
2-year-old
do.
broadcaster that is making her way down the stairs into the booth. I'm gonna excuse myself for a second. I'm gonna
Yep.
put the camera on Esteban. Actually, there's a huge battle between Shinka, Sullivan, Calvallo here, all really close by. While I deal with this uninvited guest.
Alrighty, so further up the field from that Cavello battle, we have Ubanesk moving up into P5, working his way closer to the rear bumper of Ruzic. Przalski, unfortunately, taking that hit at T1 on lap 2 is put him back into P12, but he's made up one position on Mike Frund. As we see Ubanesk missing his brake point and almost coming into the rear end of Ruzic.
Yes, Steven, we have,
Yep.
wow, what a send. Huge battles. Ooh, some funky rejoins here. But yeah, a message from our guest here. What can you say? You say it louder. Say, I love Trackalicious.
I love Trackalicious.
Yeah, and that is our mascot here. Our 2-year-old chiming in while I go deal with this. I'll let you cover this awesome battle that's happening there.
Yeah, right now we have Omar Perez wearing a hole into the back bumper of Scott Perez. Unfortunately, with Scott Perez having that front end damage, he is unable to really fend off the attacks that are going to be coming his way. A lot of aero damage done to that car. As we have a battle further up, we have Mike Frund working his way up closer to Menser, and right behind that we have Alexei Agapa in the Ginetta making the move on Mike Frund. Not something that I was really expecting to see out of that little V6 Ginetta, but it is pushing hard. Unfortunately, Calvello getting pushed back even further, but Calvello right now making the move on Mike Frund. I don't know if Mike Frund has damage or if he is just a little bit off pace, but Calvello making up that one position. Further back into the field, we have Karshirik under threat from Matt Melanson. Melanson last race unfortunately started in the pits and made his way up the field, but did not make it up too far. But he is right now working on the bumper of Karshirik with Jeff Franks right behind, as we see Kazirik making the attempt on Shink, but to no avail. He could not stir up Shink, and is now currently under threat from Melanson, who has caught up. A little bit further up the field, we have Omar Perez now working on the rear bumper of Mike Frund. Mike Frund is trying to defend. He's on the inside line, but could not defend from Omar Perez. Omar Perez moves up into P14. I am talking way too fast because there's so much action going on right now in this midfield. So we have Omar Perez now working on the rear bumper of Calvello and Mentz. Mentz is right now under threat going into the second Lesmos, but Calvello in that Porsche opting to stay behind Mentz to pick up that toe coming into the next straight. We'll see if he makes the attack coming around Escari. Further up into the field, we have Uzaban Umbanesk working a hole into the rear bumper of Ruzic right now. About half a second behind, but gaining ever so slowly on every straight. Jan Roderick's further up has made it around Dan Berg And Jan Rodrigues is looking to go back at Jose Guzman for round 2. If there was a secret 7th gear on the Ginetta, so many people would be very angry. Yes, if there was a 7th gear added, the Ginetta would be a powerhouse around here. Here we go. We have Calvello right now trying to make a move on Menser. Coming into the first turn here, gets around, makes the pass cleanly. Menser slips back into the back behind Calvello. Menser now under threat from Omar Perez. Alexio Gappa really making up a bunch of positions, has found his way up into P11. Now trying to find his way around Pershalski, who unfortunately lap 2 took that T-bone hit from Scott Sullivan. What else do we got going on here? We have Mike Frund getting around Menser. As Menser gets hit, I think he might have gotten hit around from behind. Oh, man, that you hate to see that. Rejoining back onto the track, pushing him all the way back into P22. Oof. Yes, that is a big yellow flag there on that one. And he's under threat again right now from Rally Dutchy. Moving back up to the front of the field, Jan Rodrigues has caught up to Jose Guzman. We have a battle for the lead right now. Jose Guzman really, really attacking that inside line.
And we're back.
Alrighty, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Dad duties are unfortunately a 24/7 responsibility.
Hey, man, we're not faulting you there.
Even when those little runts are supposed to be sleeping right now, it's 2 hours past their bedtime. But alas, here we are with some fantastic battles again on track.
Yes, we have a lot of fantastic battles. And like I was saying before, Alexio Gappa in that Ginetta has found his way up into P10. The little Ginetta that could.
That is a really impressive performance by Alexio for sure. The Zimbabwean driver doing a fantastic job. Rally Dutchy here really, really taking it to Will Metzer.
Darren Thomas dropping the energy for Alexia Gappa. That like I was saying, that little Ginetta is on fire tonight, making his way up the field as we have another incident with Menser and Raleigh Dutchy. No.
Well, while that ends, another one begins. Christoph Schinke and Jeff Franks, bumper to bumper, going at it within 0.3 of each other. Another battle up top brewing. Looks like Jan's been making his way back to Jose Guzman.
Yes, and unfortunately, I think we're seeing the downside of being in that Ginetta, not having the draft in front of him. He's unfortunately getting a pass attempt by Calvello, who's running that Porsche. Oh, I unfortunately foresee Calvello getting the pass done here on the front straight on the Ginetta, but that will then give the Ginetta the tow to be dragged around the rest of this racetrack.
While that's happening, though, we do have the... Oh, looks like we're getting a little bit of rubber banding between Schinke and Jeff Franks. And Wall right behind. Austin Wall. All three of these right next to each other, or I should say bumper to bumper right ahead of each other. Really intense. Really, this is where, you know, that optimization of like perfection of exit at Monza is really difficult, especially with someone in front of you. Jeff Franks doing a good job of staying ahead, but Shinka really trying as hard as he possibly can to make up as much delta as he can in that little Alpine that could.
Yes, the little Alpine that could. And Calvello still trying to make the attack on Alexia Gappa. Gappa holding on to that P10 position. But now Calvello getting around, Alexia getting back in front, Calvello back in front. Oh, these two are fighting tooth and nail as we now have a little bit of a kerfuffle behind them. And Omar Perez entering the stage has now taken over that P11 position, and unfortunately Alexio Gappa getting pushed back to P12 as Scott Sullivan, or almost P13 as Scott Sullivan is trying to make the pass now too.
And looks like we have Esteban right on the tail of JB Rusick here, trying to get that draft in that Aston. Aston used to have pretty good straight line speed, but doesn't look like it's nearly as much as the Mercedes. Huge braking advantage on the Aston. Fantastic move by Esteban there, managing to get that position from Rusick at P4. Now chasing down Dan Berg just ahead.
Yeah, Dan Berg has kind of found himself in that little bit of a no man's land. He's got nobody in front of him to help him with the tow, so he's unfortunately going to get brought a little bit further back into the field, and he's going to be under threat from Esteban. As Jan Rodrix is still maintaining about a half-second gap between him and Jose Guzman. Unfortunately, a back marker got in the way and has now pushed Jan Rodrix behind past 1 second of gap.
Unfortunately, while this is a single class race, traffic is a part of racing. It's something that you have to deal with, something you have to learn how to be good at, I suppose. And unfortunately for Jan, that just was an unfortunate position in time for him to have to deal with, giving Jose indeed that 1 second gap. But Jan has managed to shorten that up quite a bit and is going to be able to do so yet again, I'm sure.
And actually he has, as he's now caught up to him on the back straight, coming into Curva Parabolica. Has a little bit of a better entry, coming in now side by side, door to door, as they're coming out of the exit of Parabolica, heading across the line. We have 4 minutes left of this race, and this battle for P1 is heating up.
Well, you can tell that Jan learned one lesson, is that don't try to overtake Jose on the outside of Parabolica. Try to overtake him on the inside of Parabolica.
Yeah, and they almost come together, touching. Oh, there might have been a little bit of a push. They're a little bumping and banging, but Jose Guzman rights Rusick, or rights Jan Rodrix back straight, and we now have, for the first time in this race, a new leader.
We got another battle. Matt Melanson making his way through. Oh, looks like Alexio Gappa now dropping to 13th position. Sullivan hungry for that as well, right behind Alexio and the Ginetta.
Oh, no. Oh, once again, we have some contact between Jose Guzman and Jan Rodrix, sending Jan Rodrix around, coming out of the second chicane.
We missed that on the main screen, so I'm going to do a little bit of a replay, see what happened. Jose Guzman tucked in behind Jan. Jan closing the door. Jose looking on the inside, or the outside, I should say. Does a pretty decent job. Oh, gosh. That's a tough one.
And because of that, we now have our second lead change of the race. We now have Dan Berg in the lead in that bullet racing Mercedes.
Can Dan maintain this position for maybe 2 laps? I don't think it's going to be one. I don't think he's going to make it through the finish line in one. Oh no, goes deep.
Ooh, deep. But Jose Guzman got a little bit slideways coming through Parabolica, but Guzman gets the pass done, and now they're under threat from uh, Obanisk, who came from P. Oh man, all the way in the back, now all the way back up to the front.
This is going to be an
Ooh.
immense battle. Mbanisk, I think he was P7 at the end of
Yeah,
race 1.
P7
Now,
start. Oh,
yeah.
this battle for P1 is getting spicy.
Yeah, and I think I missed a follow. Thank you, Slick, for following. Welcome to TRACKILICIOUS. We are in the second race of our rookie series of the doubleheader tonight and about to head into our open series. And we have an immense battle going on for first place with Jose Guzman winning the first race, now being challenged by Berg and Umbanis right behind. Oh, Potts Weaver getting a drive-through penalty from probably one too many track limits.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did see him earlier taking some of these turns a little bit too aggressively, and unfortunately, the stewards have determined that you've gone one too many, buddy. You got to take that drive through.
And we see a bit of a battle brewing between the two Camaros, the monsters, on the straight here between Devin Anthony and Steven Music. Devin right behind, trying to get as much draft as he can, trying to have a look on the inside, but not quite enough overlap or any overlap to make that happen.
Yeah, get these two Chevy Camaros are really fighting hard for this P8 position. Steven Music, having battled him, he will not give that spot up easily. He will hold that position till the end of this race, I think. But moving further up, Umbanesk is unfortunately losing out to Dan Berg, who is putting on a defensive storm, not allowing either Ubanis or Ruzik to pass to try and catch up to Jose Guzman.
That is just super impressive driving by Umbanis, trying to make up all of those positions. Now up to P3. Challenged from Ruzik right behind too. He doesn't have to pay attention ahead, but also has to pay attention behind.
Yeah, he's unfortunately stuck in that Mercedes sandwich.
Indeed, that is going to be a lot of pressure on Umbanis, but we've seen him deal really well with that pressure before, as we have Jose Guzman in the second sector of the final lap, trying to make his way through. A bit of a comfortable lead now after that contact with Jan Rodrix just a moment ago.
Lizzie Alisea is throwing some energy towards Devin Anthony, trying to make that pass on Steven Music, but unfortunately Steven Music has now pulled out a 1 second gap.
What? Lizzie, what? You're supposed to be driving. Why are you? What? Where are you? No texting and driving, Lizzie. What happened?
Oh boy, as we're now making our way around the final turn, this is the final lap. And Jose Guzman comes across the line in P1, followed by Dan Berg, Usaban Umbanesk, JB Ruzik, and Aaron Miller to P5. Jan Rodrix following close behind with Potts Weaver in P7. Steven Music holds on for the P8 with Devin Anthony in P9 and Calavello pulling in the P10. Omar Perez unfortunately not able to make his way back up into the top 10. That was a tall ask having to start all the way at the back. He unfortunately finishes in P11.
David supporting Lizzie's hate for this track, apparently. Oh no, forgot to load a setup. That's the worst.
Oh.
Again, I guess just lessons learned. Well, Mr. Tomazic, another fantastic race put on by our rookies.
Yes, another fantastic race put on by the rookies, as we now have our final 3 races making their way down the back straight to come around the final turn of Curva Parabolica.
Oh no.
Oof.
Drew Freiberger trying to make his way through the last lap. Come on, Drew, we're here. We're going to support you all the way to the end. You got this. Just make it to the end. That is one distressed hood, okay? But you only have one more corner left to go. We're all here for you. All 49 of us supporting you all the way to the end. You can do it. Don't quit. Don't give up. You got this.
As he now enters into the final turn of Curva Parabolica, getting a little bit slideways, but is able to manage and keep it straight. Keep those 4 tires going in the same direction as he now comes across the finish line and finishes the race for the rookie series here at Monza.
Wow. Again, I thought it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome race. And Steven, I'm going to transition ourselves back into the booth here.
Yep. Back into the booth as we now get ready for the Open Series race.
Wow. Yeah. So as if a double-header rookie series was not enough, we're going to go into the Open Series. Now, for those of you who don't know, the rookie series is limited to those who have a rookie rating in SimGrid. Sometimes it's a little bit, doesn't quite define the person performing in these series. As I think, probably the top 3, top 5 folks are a bit too fast maybe for this series, but we got to draw the line somewhere. So SimGrid rookie rating is where we draw the line, and what we're gonna do is keep that. And as people graduate from a rookie rating, they're gonna go and get themselves into the Open Series, which is coming up next. And the Open Series is gonna be the same track, but we add a little bit of spice and something nice. We add weather and we add pit stops. So a little bit of complexity for all these folks to get themselves into. And we got a bunch of people in here already. Let's get into the Open Series server and see what these folks got going on. And we are in a night free practice. Looks like, is this going to be a night race? It is going to be a 3 a.m. practice, a 4 a.m. quali, and a 6 a.m. race start. So there you go. A little bit of spice and something nice for the Open Series.
I love some night racing here at Monza. Makes for some very, very interesting racing.
Indeed. Well, Steven, we got 2 races. You know what? Let's see if anybody has jumped into. We could do a little bit of an interview. Do we have anyone? It doesn't look like. It doesn't look like we have anyone in there. But congratulations to those that were that podiumed. Congratulations to Jose Guzman. I think Jan came in second in one of the races, and I forget already. That was so long ago. We're already moving on to the next championship. But yeah, congratulations to all of those folks who got a great performance in the first race and the second race in the rookie series. Some of those folks, I'm sure, are going to be graduating to the Open Series in the next championship with their ratings really jumping up to the higher levels.
Yes.
Steven, who was your driver of the day in that race?
Driver of the day, I would have to say, would be Alexio Gappa in that Ginetta. Really, really sticking it to me, and when I said it was going to be a struggle, they kept that car on the track and fighting and making up some pretty good positions and making for some really fun racing.
Okay, that's a good shout. Good shout. Now I'm kind of torn. I think Jan put up a really good performance trying to get that P1 position. Unfortunate contact getting him out of the race. But also Usiban Mbanes, I think, has really got to get the driver of the day for me, coming in all the way from the back to P7, and I think made it up all the way to P3 or 4. So yeah, I think it was great.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of good racing in that rookie series. But now we're moving into the open series, and we have a little bit of time. Do we have the calendar to tell the folks about the other races that we have?
Steven, you're gonna challenge me a little bit here. Do we have a calendar? We have a calendar. Do I have the calendar set up in the stream to show? I don't think so. But what I can do is I know the calendar, so I can tell you all of the races that we have going on. With AV Scott, Mr. Scott Sullivan coming in with a party of 14. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Scott. Hope you had, we saw the race that you had. A little bit of goods and a little bit of bads, but hopefully all learning for the next time around. Welcome, everybody, from Scott Sullivan's stream. Nikki Nitro in here. For all of you who don't know, I've been trying to convince Nikki, Scott's wife, to join us for one of these races for like months now. So all of you join me in convincing Nikki that she's got to do it. She's got to join us for one of these races. We got to get another spouse swap going and have Nikki hop into the rig with Scott. Now, credit to her. There's a big height difference, so it's kind of gonna be a tough transition from Scott to her in the rig, but we'll figure it out. We as a community need to figure out how we can get Nikki in the seat. But for those of you who don't know, Nikki also does a whole bunch of Warhammer, forgive my ignorance, but art, painting, however you call it, and does stream that. So let's give a quick shout out to Nikki over here, because I know how to do that apparently. So check it out. It's just fantastic work, really cool stuff. I think she's self-taught, but yeah, really cool. I've watched a bunch of her streams in her calm, conversational voice while she does some fantastic art. Very different to our screaming and shouting and going fast in like circles thing we do around here. Yeah, so, gosh, where was I? Yes, calendar. You asked for calendar. I shall regurgitate the calendar. As you all know.
I have a copy of the calendar up on picture-in-picture if you know how to.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Tomazic, you're gonna challenge me here. Your face has now become you know what? It's not gonna work out too well. Your face was the calendar and that wasn't working out so well. So let's do this. So what we have on Mondays, as you have seen, we have 8 o'clock. We have the rookie series, and then at 9:30 we have the open GT4 open series. What we have coming to you soon is the 9 o'clock GT2 series coming in on Tuesdays, because we didn't have enough championships. We added another one, and because that wasn't enough, we added yet another championship, that is the GT3 series on Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern, and that's to show some love for all of our West Coast patrons, all of our West Coast friends out there that just find it a little bit too hard to make that 5:30 time, the 5:30 Pacific time, for most of our races that are scheduled. So if you're a West Coaster looking for some fun, we have the Wednesday, West Coast Wednesdays coming up in a couple of weeks here. ! SimGrid for all of our leagues are all posted on there. Maybe I can do this one too. Boom. Look at that. And then after that, well, actually before that, what we have at 8:30 8:30 Eastern is our final installment of the second season of Syntho Drive, an AIAC Formula One championship, which is a mix between marbles and a little bit of tabletop gaming, D&D, rolling die. Steven, I think you're winning that championship, are you not? Are you in the drive?
I am winning right now the Drivers' Championship.
Whoa, look, I told you guys, a legend in here in the booth with me. Not only a streaming legend, but an AI, non-controlled, not really any of his own doing, sim racing legend here. But yeah, so that's on Wednesday. So we got Sitho Drive on Wednesdays, followed by some ACC West Coast Wednesdays and GT3s at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then on Thursdays at 8:30, we have our our reverse grid championship, which is 2 races. Race 1, go out, get your quali, go get your race, go end up in a position that you end up, and we auto grid, reverse grid you to the second race and have you go and find your way from all the way in the back to all the way in the front as best as you can. Fantastic championship. We see some immense racing and some crazy drivers in that. And if that's not enough, you're looking for more weekly things to do. On Sundays, we have our Porsche Cup Championship that starts at 7:30 Eastern, followed by our GT3 Championship at 8:30 Eastern. So we have oodles and oodles of championships. And if that's not enough, you're looking to do something a little bit more team-based. What you could do is you could join our Saturdays once a month GT4 Enduro Championship. Race 2 coming up in 2 weeks. Mount Panorama. Join us. Even if you didn't do race 1, join us for race 2 at Mount Panorama and GT4s. You guys asked for it. The community asked for it. We delivered. And I think it's turned out to be a pretty cool championship so far. I'm really excited about the next round. Hope, really, fingers crossed, hoping to race with it in it. And the awesome thing, the thing that I really love about this championship is that I think it brings the community together. Okay. I'm currently teamed up with someone all the way, like pretty much literally across the world in Australia. Okay. Me and an Australian that have never met before are on the same team, and we're working together to try and do well in this championship. And I think that's a really cool concept. I think that's what's so cool about what we do around here on the stream. I think it's what's so cool of what we do around here at Trackalicious as a community, is bring people of a similar interest together and have some fun. And I think that is the answer to your question, Steven, of what does the calendar look like?
That is a big answer to the question of what that calendar looks like. There is so much stuff on that calendar. I want to race all of it, but unfortunately I can't. As we're now into qualifying here, we now have our first times being thrown up on the board. And right now we have James Pierre Reid, JP Reid in the KTM Expo in the lead. But as I say that, we now have Quinn Smith in the lead in that 999 Camaro.
Quinn Smith, JP, both super fast boys. And we are on track. Unfortunately, I don't know what Mike's settings are, so we're gonna have a little bit of a darker race and darker qualifying today, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. And Steven, I'm gonna ask you to go back to your PIP here as at your earliest convenience, and while we set up the screen here for broadcasting in ACC. But yeah,
I thought I already changed it.
Super excited. And speaking of JP, he is the Australian that I was referring to. JP is my teammate for the GT4 Enduro Championship. A super quick driver, obviously, considering that he's in P2 right now, just behind Quinn Smith. Reggie King up there in P3. Potts Weaver coming back for more because the first race just simply wasn't enough.
If you need the settings for the night, I can get them for you right now.
Honestly, I'm okay. I'm all right with it.
You sure?
Yeah, I like it. I like a little bit of darkness, a little bit of realism. I love ACC at night. I think we can still see the cars. They got headlights to them. We can all enjoy it in its true way that it's meant to be witnessed. So I'm gonna keep it as is and not complicate things, if I may.
Okay. Alrighty, as I stated before, we right now have Quinn Smith in the lead right now as uh, James Pierre James Reed really trying to get that KTM Expo up in pace. Quinn Smith largening the gap between him and Reed by a little bit, but I think Reed has the pace to take it away. Right now we have our odd numbered drivers out on track.
Yeah, Steven, while I think JP might have the pace, I'm not sure if that I'm not sure if that KTM has it in these straights. So
We
yeah.
shall see. He's currently half a second up on his delta from his last attempt. So
In JP we trust. Let's see what he's able to do. You know what? Let's hop on board with him and see what he's got going on.
he just came out of Ascari. He's now coming down the final straight, coming down towards Curva Parabolica. Yeah, Parabolica. Wow, couldn't say that one there for a second. Lost a little bit of speed coming out of Ascari, but he's picked it up coming around Curva Parabolica. And I think this is going to be a P1 for that KTM crossbow.
Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is, by a pretty decent amount at that.
Quarter of a second, yeah. Following behind Quinn Smith, we have Potts Weaver holding that provisional P3 position, with Reggie King in P4 and Jan Rodricks in P5.
Jan back for more Monza mayhem.
Hey. You said I couldn't say it. You shouldn't be saying it too.
I meant mayhem in a good way, as in like battling on track. Or should I say madness? Momentous Monza. Magnificent.
And we have
Magical.
Darren Thomas. We have Darren Thomas dropping some energy the way of Jacob Church in that 253 Chevy Camaro.
Let's give Church some love, some energy. Look at that. You can't, it's so pretty. I love ACC at night. So pretty, coming through the lights of the main straight into the darkness of night at Monza.
We had a yellow flag from Milo Stansky. I think he invalidated somewhere in the middle of the field. Not enough time to make it back around to make another attempt. So I think he's content, right? Or he's going to have to be content with that provisional P6 position.
Right, as we flip qualifying with 20 seconds left, there are going to be a couple people who are going to be able to make it across the line for their final attempts. It looks like 111 or 111 is going to be probably the last person of Reggie King. Is he going to be able to make it in time? Nope, looks like he's going into the pits. Just didn't quite have enough time to do so. But we have a couple people out on track that are going to be able to complete their laps. Potts Weaver coming in through the first chicane here of Variante del Rettofilo. JP Reed with a monster lap in that KTM of a 156.0. But don't fret. We have the likes of Dan Brace, the likes of Razzle Dazzle Ali Raza yet to come out and show these folks what speed is.
Unfortunately, I'm seeing Ali Raza yellow flagged at the exit of the first chicane. The yellow flag is now cleared, so I'm guessing he's back on the track.
Looks like he is. Oh.
So our first driver of our even numbered plates to run is going to be Dan Brace in that Iron Man Aston Martin.
Coming in with the traditional Dan Brace livery, gold and maroon. Has it been confirmed? Do we know if Dan actually does that color because of Iron Man? Have we talked to Dan and said, hey, is this an Iron Man livery?
I don't think so. It's a no-name racing team on our screens. If we'll have to find that out tonight if we get him in for an interview after the race, if he's in the top 3.
Yeah, Dan,
As
can you win the race so we can interview you?
No favoritism there. We're just curious.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with us wanting to win the race. We just want to ask you a question.
So as it stands right now, Dan Brace making his way very cleanly through the first chicane. Now coming around Curva Grande, moving his way all the way up to Variante della. You want to start your braking just after that 150 board. Takes that cleanly. Might have dipped a tire into the gravel there. It'll shave off a little bit of speed, but now he's working on his way into Lesbo 1. Good entry and good exit right there. Now into Lesbo number 2. Ooh, gets a little bit heavy on the bump there on the exit or on the apex and threw him out a little bit wide, but he was able to maintain his pace. Now moving down the Curva del Sergilio, the third straight on this track. Ooh, had a little bit of a wiggle and has unfortunately invalidated his lap coming through Ascari. Hopefully he is far enough ahead that he does not impede on the driver behind him, which is Justin Beachley, who's right now on tear, as we're now entering into the final turn of Curva Parabolica. Keeping tight to that inside line, sending out a little bit wide on the exit, then cutting right back across to make the shortest path to the finish line. And Justin Beachley taking provisional P4, pushing Potts Weaver back into P5.
That's not bad, actually. That is really good quality for Beachley there. Justin found himself quite a bit of pace towards the end of the last season in the Open Series, in the rookie split. I think he ended up winning it with a tight battle with Casey Swanseger all the way up to the last race. Incredible championship performance by Beachley.
Yeah, very good performance from Justin Beachley. We still have 5 more minutes left, so he's got plenty of time to improve. John Hawley moving up into P6 position, moving Potts Weaver further back, and now we have Ali Raza with the fastest time on track, dropping a 155.36, sends him 0.6 of a second ahead of Reed.
Ali comes in with this razzle dazzle, goes, hey JP, take your puny KTM and go back to the pits. I'm gonna lay down some Mercedes madness and monster power in this temple of speed, flat out for most of the track. Yep, I called JP, for the record, as my unbiased teammate. I said, it's not your skill that's lacking, it's that little KTM, the little engine that could or couldn't in this matter. Almost could. P2 is still not a bad shout for that little car. Fantastic performance by you, but yeah, Ali Raza and a Mercedes at Monza is just gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, that KTM right now is sporting a very modest 2.0 liter turbo inline 4. So that really is the little engine that could right there.
personal best. Cornford Caster, JP Reed in chat. Personal best in the KTM. Just imagine if he was in a real car, not a motorbike.
Further back into the field, we have Casey Schutte, just one position outside of his home in that P6. He's currently holding P7, but he's set to set another lap here. He's got 3 more minutes to go to try and get himself back into his happy place.
Should start calling him Casey 60 from now on. It's not about where he starts, Steven. It's about where he finishes. And as long as he gains a position from 7th to 6th, then we can all be happy. We can know that the world is right.
Everything is right with the world.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Dan really sending it, trying to maximize as much speed as he can on that exit. Who's got right behind him? Someone trying to use as much of Dan's draft as they possibly can. Dan a bit out of position in P9. Let's see what he could do. Probably got 1 more lap in him. Maybe 2, actually.
We got John Hawley dropping 7/10 improvement. Moves him up into P4 as he comes across the line.
Incredible.
Yep. Moving Dan Brace back from P6 all the way back to P7. Justin Beachley currently holds P6, and Jan Roderick's still in that provisional P5. But we still have a bunch of drivers still out on track with 1.5 minutes left. So the clock is starting to wind down for these drivers.
Yeah, 1:18 left on the clock. That's not a lot. We're probably going to look at, let's see, probably 14 going to be the last car. Oh, I think Dan's going to get another shot at it. Dan and Beachley are probably going to get another lap, but who's 410? Hawley will probably miss out on the extra lap, I think.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he had gained a lot of time in the first sector, but coming out of the second chicane, dipped the tires off track and got a little bit loose and lost a lot of his momentum. But he's still within range to possibly improve another position.
I wouldn't put it past any of these guys. I think Brace has got it probably in him. Schutte probably a couple to improve. Weaver is quick to surprise as well. I don't quite think anyone's going to get Raza's time. I don't think anyone's going to quite get close to JP. Maybe Quinn's position's at a bit of a risk. And coming through now.
John Hawley coming around Parabolica, unfortunately losing the rear end of the car, and comes across the line 1/10 off of his personal best.
There you have it. Hawley finishing up. But we do have, what do we have? We have 2 drivers out there. Hawley and Dan and Beachley. And they are really needing to do their absolute best, because both of those positions are at quite a bit of risk, actually, to try and make up some time.
Yeah, Dan Brace unfortunately not looking to really improve this time around, as he's now coming through Lesmo 2. He's 1/10 down on his time, and dipping a tire into the grass is not what he needed, as Justin Beachley does the same, dipping a tire into the grass right behind him. Both of these drivers has just lost all their momentum. I don't think they're going to be able to make it through the final sector and gain any positions here.
That's
As Dan Brace, oh no, Dan Brace taking a big hit on the inside curb at Ascari and sending it into the wall.
Still got Beachley on the board. He's looking for a 10th or 2 for a couple of positions improvement.
He's got to have a perfect parabolica to really send that one home. And unfortunately, I don't think he has it. And he comes across the line a quarter of a second down on his delta.
Just not enough. John Hawley. Phew, 1/10 off 24-hour Rolex Daytona winner Quinn Smith. Super happy. You know what? I'd be happy with that too. That is a pretty phenomenal performance. John, very recently, once a rookie, no longer a rookie, no mo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, folks, we are back on the grid to no one's surprise. We have Ali Raza in P1 in the Mercedes at Monza. Coming in at P2, actually a bit of a surprise with JP Reed in the KTM. A phenomenal performance for the KTM at Monza here. Followed by, as aforementioned, the 24 hours of Daytona winner, Quinn Smith. 4th place, once a rookie no more, John Hawley. And as we saw before, Jan Roderick's coming in P5. Kind of love that livery. It's quite simple, but very effective. Loving the color combination on there. But really cool to see all the liveries on the track with Justin Beachley. I don't think he's sans livery. I think I'm the one who's errored out in this one, not having his livery. I bet he has some like beer or cat combination livery. I'm sorry, Justin. I would love to see that. But what we can see is Dan Brace's Iron Man, I hesitate to say. Potentially, maybe we could tell him, I'm sorry, Justin. I'm sorry. That's all my fault. I didn't download the liveries again. I downloaded them last week. Casey Schutte in P8 looking to make up 2 positions to get back to his home position of P6. Going into Potts Weaver, a long time running livery. Love that orange and green combination. Obviously loving to see the Trackalicious Simracing on the hood in P9. Reggie King in a Purple Dirt P10. I'm pretty sure that's a Cadbury one that I also don't have the livery of. I'm sorry, guys. I should really have had done that, but I wasn't expecting to stream today. And Aaron Miller in P11. Vamolek Valle in P12. Vamolek, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I know you told me how to say it earlier, but I forgot. Georgia Elmer in P13. Alex Freeman in P14. Milos Tansky in P15. Church in 16. Franks in 17. Masters 18. Karu 19. And Rally Dutchy in P20. Rounding up the grid. There you have it. That is the Open Championship grid as we head out for our outlap. 45 minutes. Going to be an immense race for these guys.
Yes, an immense race for these guys as we're now into daylight hours. We've moved away from that nighttime qualifying session. And Eric, did you get my message?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
I'm gonna... Yeah, so, you know, we have daytime. Back in the day, a lovely night quali. Jan, a little bit out of place for a supposed rookie here. And for those listening, maybe Aaron Miller, maybe we need to take a second look at Jan's rookiness, if we like. But yeah, really, really great qualifying. No doubt, Ali Raza killing it in the quali as he usually does. JP Reed, I think, yeah, to bring that KTM up into P2, I would never be able to do it. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. Let's have a look at that. Where is that? KTM. Super cool. Anyone else excited to drive the GT2 KTM, or is it just me? Because I think that thing looks absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. And yeah, GT2 Championship coming up. Exclamation point SimGrid. Sign up. Come join us. Have some fun. It's just me. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate your support. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's just me. I think there are a lot of people that were pretty excited about it, Darren. I think it might be just you who's not excited about it. How about that? But yeah, super excited. I have yet to really drive the GT2s. I might have done. I think I drove one in the pits and then stopped it at the end of the pits, just in great fear of preparation for the Bathurst 24 that we just did last weekend. So I didn't touch anything for a whole 2 months, other than our GT3 races. No practice other than Bathurst, which was actually really fun. So if anyone hasn't done any endurance races, join us at TRACKILICIOUS for 4-hour enduros with the GT4s. We have tons of room. We have some really fun cars on track. We have some really fun teams on track. And we had a really good time last time around as our drivers get themselves into 2x2 formation, ready to make it out to the first lap at the Temple of Speed here at Monza. Mr. Nas, hello. How are you doing? Oh, it's a bummer, Darren. Would love to have you on the grid. All right, folks. Side by side. Ready to go at it. These folks ready to race. Who is going to have the better start as we get near the line here at Monza and the lovely Italy? And we're green, go. Looks like Ali Raza did have the better start. JP tucking in right behind, trying to get as much draft. That Camaro in P3 from Quinn Smith having a phenomenal run. The draft from Ali Raza just not being quite enough. JP having the inside line. Quinn on the outside. Are they going to be able to make it through just fine? Looks like they are. Good move from all of those folks. We might have a little bit of the contact in the back, but overall looking relatively clean from the grid here. JP still maintaining that second position as Quinn Smith, the monster Camaros in P3 and P4, going at it as best as they can to try and gobble up that little KTM just ahead. Ali Raza walking.
Good.
Ali Raza walking away a little bit as JP is trying to fend off these Camaros just behind. But yeah, JP looks like he's defending the position for Ali Raza quite successfully. But I'm sure he's going to find a bit of pace as he gets comfortable with a couple of more corners.
Yeah, and at the start of the race, I watched Justin Beachley, unfortunately, not making it through the second part of the chicane, had to take that a little bit of the escape road, and has now allowed Jan Roderick's to take that position back, and now we have a battle brewing for P5 between those two.
Impressive. Everybody doing such a fantastic job. JP going off.
As Dan Brace goes off.
And JP off a little bit, giving Quinn Smith quite a bit of run to the outside of Parabolica. Now is the weight of the KTM going to give itself some advantage through the turn? The Daytona 24 winner, Quinn Smith on the outside, losing it a little bit. Not quite the same amount of grip as JP has on the inside. JP gaining a little bit of position there, a little bit of gap, but that Camaro's monster power coming right back at the little KTM that could. Not only Quinn getting past, is it gonna be Jan Rodrigues as well? No, not Jan. Who was that? John Holly. John Holly taking a sniff as well. Looks like Quinn was able to get ahead. JP trying to fight back as best as he can in the little KTM, but just doesn't quite seem to have enough. Not quite enough. There just aren't simply enough turns to make that KTM work around here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have lost my video control board. I'm trying to get it back up and running. I'm stuck right now on Dan Brace, who's in a battle. Oh, just sent it right into the back of Justin Beachley. Beachley now off, pointed in the wrong direction at the second chicane.
That is a tough pill to swallow. That is unfortunate. Such good racing up to that point. Unfortunately, a little bit of an error seeming from Dan Brace, sending Beachley right into the wall. That's going to be a tough race to recover from for Beachley, but we've seen much more difficult things overcome. And as you work your magic there, let's turn you off there while you figure it out. Yeah, now Jan Rodrigues getting ahead of John Holly, sending it in the Mercedes. The Mercedes just seems to have such incredible pace here.
Yeah, the Mercedes with that V8 engine in it. That is a well, let me get the specs up here. It's a 4.0 liter twin turbo V8 with 503 base horsepower. It's a little bit on the heavy side, 3,600 pounds, but that V8 is really putting down the torque to get these drivers up to speed and down the straights fast.
Yeah, it's not doing that seemingly single cylinder KTM a lot of good. I don't know, they forgot to put the rest of the cylinders in that engine. But again, JP doing such a fantastic job keeping it up at P3. Now Quinn Smith seems to have walked away.
No. Big crash at the first chicane. It involved Casey Schutte, Alex Freeman, Aaron Miller, George Elmer. A big kerfuffle going on right now. Casey Schutte, unfortunately, looks like he's the one that took the brunt of it, as he's right now being passed by so many cars, moving him further and further down the field.
Let's see what happened. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Potts, Weaver, what have you done?
Oh, the racing stewards are really going to have to take a long, hard look at that one to analyze.
Yeah, Potts Weaver is going to take a really long, hard look at himself for that one, Mr. Stewart. Oh, goodness. Taking out a league manager at that. He is. Casey's in a bit of a bad zone today, considering what happened at our GT3 series yesterday. Oh, no, don't say it. Don't make more noises. No more noises.
I just switched over to John Hawley. He unfortunately took the rally route through Ascari, rejoined, and Dan Brace came flying right up and had to swerve to avoid. Ooh.
No more noises. No more bad noises.
Well, Mike Noss isn't here, so somebody has to do them.
Yeah. Careful, Steven. Those have been getting clipped recently. Anything online is fair game for Cody, who was probably in here.
He probably is.
Cody, send us a pulse. I bet you're here and you're listening. Yeah, you're about to get immortalized there, Mr. Tomazic.
Am I also gonna get a emoji made after me?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we caught some of your faces out there, so gonna get that clipped as well. Yeah, so Mike Noss has a weird noise partner now.
Yes, he does. Man, going to the front of the field, it looks like it's kind of thinned itself out. The closest gap at the front is 1.5 seconds, and that's from Reed to Quinn Smith. But further back in the field, from P8 back, we have a train really starting to form here, starting with Milos Tansky, uh, who's under threat from Alex Freeman, who's then under threat from Aaron Miller, who's then under threat from George Elmer. I do not know how to pronounce this last name. Jai?
You know what? I was actually literally just going back to see what I believe Vamolek, how to pronounce his name. I know he sent me a message a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, I don't have it available I can't pull it up.
Yeah, so right now, P8 to P11 is locked out by the McLarens, who have that. Here's a little fun fact for these GT4 McLarens. They have a fixed brake bias of 60%. Or is it 50%? It's one of the two. Which means you cannot adjust your brake bias at all. While all these other cars, you can do that. So hats off to them being able to wrestle in this GT4. So moving a little bit further back, we have Casey Schutte finally getting out of that P14 position, getting around George Franks, and is now trying to make his way up against Jai, who's currently holding that P12 position.
P12 is not entirely a bad spot to be considering the strength of the field here. That's, that's still pretty freaking strong, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm just going to go back and look at this battle. Yeah, like I said, I love the fact that in our GT4 series, we really have battles all the way up and all the way down the field. And Jaeger Karu, McLaren to McLaren, chasing down Tanner Masters.
Yeah, Tanner Masters starting towards the rear of the field. Jaeger Karu, I believe, started in last place. Let me take a look at the gains and losses. I don't have that data because I had to exit out. But since I have returned, Jaeger Karu has gained a position. Casey Schutte lost out on 6, but Potts Weaver really taking the brunt with 11, and Justin Beachley with that unfortunate second chicane incident has put him all the way down into 11th position, or 11 positions lost from the time that I got back in.
You know what's interesting is as I look up, I'm seeing quite a few McLarens on the field. Look at that. Tansky McLaren, Miller McLaren, Freeman McLaren, Elmer McLaren, Weaver McLaren, Masters McLaren, Karu McLaren, Dutchy McLaren. They're all grouped up in groups of 4 battling each other. That's so cool to see.
Yes, it is. But right now, our leaders are 3 separate manufacturers. We have Ali Raza in that Canada Racing AMG, followed by Quinn Smith in that V8 Racing Chevy Camaro. And then we have the Crossbow of Celsius Autosport Monza being piloted by James Pierre Reed.
Yeah, actually, correction, that's Canada. It's a livery that I created, given that it's immense amount of Canadianness that is happening with the flannel and the jeans and the maple syrup wheels. Yeah, Canadian Racing, Ali Raza representing in P1 position. Just absolutely just drove away from the field. 8 seconds. Unreal.
Yeah, but Here's a battle that's starting to heat up. We have John Hawley catching up to the rear bumper of Dan Brace as they're now making their way onto the front straight, heading towards the first chicane. Getting a little bit of that toe, closing up that gap. Now that gap is down to 1/4 of a second, and he's able to get the car stopped as they enter the first chicane. And we're definitely going to have a big battle here for P5.
Yeah, big battle indeed. I mean, the middle of the field right now is super, super, super tight. Aaron Miller on Tansky, Elmer on Miller, Freeman on Elmer, Schutte on Freeman, and Jahi on Schutte. I'm sorry, Mamolik. If you could somehow later message me, I'll do my best to get that name right. Maybe that's a Swiss name. Okay. Team Grilled Cheese. Oh my God, do we have a challenger for the cheesiest cheese person on the Trackalicious grid? Is someone coming after Jason Provolone's title of the Cheese Man? My goodness, the drama here at Trackalicious, unreal. You gotta add Cheeseman of the Year to the awards at the end of this season.
You probably are, yeah.
Aaron Miller still chasing down Miller Stansky. Elmer taking the scenic route. Or was that Miller?
We have a battle now right now going on for P2 as James Pierre Reed getting that slipstream in that 4-cylinder Expo, closing that gap to within 0.2 of a second and maintaining it through the first chicane.
I can't express how impressive it is that JP is at P3, not just at P3, but challenging for P2, and not just challenging anybody, challenging Daytona 24-hour winner Quinn Smith at P2.
Yeah, unfortunately took a little bit too early of an entry coming into that second chicane, lost him a little bit of time as he hits the sausage curbs. But he's maintaining pace as he's coming now in through these turny sections of Lesmos 1 and 2.
I know you guys don't usually show this, but I'm a huge fan of the helmet cam as we go inside. What JP Reed is seeing chasing down this Camaro.
Unfortunately, not the greatest exit coming out of Lesmo 2 has dropped him back just a little bit, but coming in through Ascari gets a little sideways on exit, but staying in that slipstream of Quinn Smith, losing a little bit of pace to Quinn right now, but I think he'll make that up coming around Curva Parabolica and back onto the front straight.
I'm sorry, did you just say slideways?
Yes, I did.
That's awesome. I thought I heard you say it before, but then I forgot about it, and then you just said it again. I'm like, that's a great freaking word, slideways.
Oh, he's making a move.
Is he gonna have enough? He's looking on the inside, not quite.
Couldn't get the braking down. He would have had it if he had a little bit better of a chance on those brakes. But we have Rally Dutchy in the back, off at the... Where is he off? He is off at Ascari, going into the wall there. No one helped him out here. Ooh, just took too much curb on corner entry, sending it into that inside wall. Oh,
And JP on the outside of Lesmo 1. Giving it to Quinn on Lesmo 2 still on the outside. Oh no, a bit of a wiggle. But is able to keep it. Quinn tucking in behind JP now. Is he going to be able to keep it? What
That
is
little
going to
four-cylinder
happen?
that could.
Quinn. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh.
Oh no!
Oh. And Quinn Smith dropping back, allowing Reed to keep the position ahead of him, but in doing so has lost 2 positions now. Oh, and now we have to watch Reed try and do that all over again with Jan Rodricks now.
I
But I
mean,
think he should be able to do it.
it's gonna be tough though. He's got damage now. How's that gonna affect him on the straights? Goodness.
Well, as Darren Thomas has pointed out, we do have a pit stop. That
That's
is
true.
a mandatory pit stop.
That's true. That's true. 26 minutes of a 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. You gotta nail it. I don't know if JP's gonna take repairs or not, but
well, if you don't take tires, does that pit stop get longer for damage repairs even if you don't take the tires?
that's
If he can get repaired under that 25 seconds, he should be fine.
That's a really good question, considering the KTM's probably pretty decent on its tires with no weight to move anywhere. So the question becomes, is he gonna take tires or not? It's gonna be a pretty boss move if he doesn't. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
As we are now starting to see some drivers make their way into the pits. Right now we have Raleigh Dutchy and Jaeger Karu in the pits for their mandatory pit stops. And it also looks like to repair some damages.
Got some.
Jaeger Karu repaired about 8 seconds worth of damage.
We have some tight battles in the middle of the field as well.
Yeah, we got Casey Schutte attacking the rear bumper right now of Alex Freeman. He's less than a tenth behind, literally bumper to bumper as they're now entering Curva Parabolica.
Darren, fuel equals 25 seconds is if it is mandated to be 25 seconds, and I'm not sure if it is for this championship or not.
And we now have more takers here. We now have George Elmer, Alex Freeman, Casey Schutte, and Ajahi now coming into the pits for their mandatory pit stops.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it is mandatory refueling, so it doesn't quite. He's gonna get a 5-second advantage if he doesn't take tires, which he's probably gonna do, to be honest with you.
It all really depends on how much damage he has taken from that hit.
Yeah.
But he still has pace and is still giving Jan Rodricks a run for his money, having to defend right now, going into Ascari a little bit. Jan Rodricks looked like he was gonna take that inside line, but moved back over to the outside as Reed didn't have the pace.
Right.
But Reed going through those turns has such an advantage.
Yeah, and we see right behind, we got Quinn Smith and John Hawley in a battle of the Camaros. So with one battle we have the opposites, and the other battle we have the same. So who is gonna win out? JP showing some incredible pace, but that Mercedes is just so powerful here at Monza right now.
Yeah, looking further back into the field, it looks like the field has really just strung itself out a little bit. Everybody's not really fighting for positions. There are some drivers who are faster, but like we said, we're now entering into that phase where we're going to start seeing all the drivers come in for their pits. And so far, only 7 drivers have.
Yeah, grumpy geriatric gamer. I just read your name for the first time. That's funny. Yeah, 100%. I don't think JP's gonna take the repairs. I think he's just gonna live with it. He's doing pretty decent. I don't think he's gonna take tires. Just refuel whatever little he needs to, and then make it work. Is anyone taking tires? Not sure. You would think that Monza's not a place where you take tires. You would think.
Looking at the stop times, it looks like 3 drivers that I can tell that didn't have damage did take tires so far. Casey Schutte so far is the only one that has not taken tires.
Okay, that's interesting.
So Casey Schutte trying to make up positions through the pit stop. Whoa, as we see Jan Roderick's go wide coming out of Ascari.
Holly tucking in right behind Quinn. Quinn making his way around him.
Oh no. And right now, Quinn Smith and Jay Hawley have the tow, but good for Reed seeing that and following Jan Rodericks into the pits for their mandatory pit stops. This is where we're going to see, and we also have Ali Raza in the pits as well. So this is where we're going to see who's going to take tires and who's going to come out ahead.
Yeah, as we have the battle of the pit stops really building up here. Again, another interesting part of this series relative to the rookie series. We try to simplify it for the rookie series. You know, try to not have the pits and the weather and the nights, so everything is in day. But you come up to the open series and we add a little bit of complexity to help make things as interesting as possible.
And interesting, it sure is.
Looks like Ali Raza has tucked himself into the pits. And after all,
came out.
Yeah, and after all that, coming into the low position of P4.
He took tires as well. So that Mercedes needing to that Mercedes Ali Raza needing tires. I think he did that to try and give some of our other drivers a chance. Jan Rodericks opted for tires. Reed.
Sounds like Jan Rodericks also opted for a drive-through, which has been tagged onto his name.
No. Looks like Reed opted for no tires and damage repairs. It took him 30 seconds. And Dambrace opted for tires as well. So these V8s, for how heavy they are needing those tires.
Ooh, Quinn tucks in, goes into the pits, gives Holly an open and free lap. Now, it is crucial for Holly to absolutely nail this lap.
I'm knocking on wood for him right now. I'm hoping he does a really good job on this in lap if he's going to opt to take the pit stop this time around.
Let's go for an onboard with Holly. Let's watch. Let's see what he sees.
He's now making his entry into the second chicane. Good clean entry, good clean exit. Maintaining that forward momentum as he's now coming into Lesmo 1 and 2. Hitting the inside curve really well. Good exit. lining himself up for Lesmo number 2. Good entry, keeps the tires on the AstroTurf and rumble strip, and now is making his way down towards that
Ooh.
that second straight.
Don't forget to turn, John. There's a bit of a kick there.
Now we're going through Ascari. Good apex on the entry, good apex in the middle, and good apex on that exit, and doesn't send himself out too far wide, so he's able to maintain that momentum as he's now coming down the final straight towards Curva Parabolica.
That wiggle in the middle of Ascari is not going to do him any favors, though, especially when it comes to the long straight that comes after it. You really want to maximize the speed coming out of that corner. Is he going to go into the pits? Yes, he is.
Yes,
is he going to nail the pit stop? Oh, he's kind of early. It was kind of early. Is that enough? Did he do enough? Did Quinn Smith mess anything up in his pit stop? Let's see how this stop's going to be. Is he going to come out A-okay or not? Straight up?
Quinn Smith right now is in P6 behind Ambrace by about 2 seconds. He's currently coming down the second straight heading towards Ascari. So you can roughly guess that he's got about 45 seconds of time until he's through Ascari and down the back straight towards Curva Parabolica.
Gonna stick with him here, or maybe we should go to Quinn Smith. Ooh.
I'm on Quinn Smith right now, so I'll switch back over to Holly. Holly's making his exit right now.
Oh my goodness, did Holly's manage to
back
do
on
it?
Track. Holly is back on track, and Quinn Smith is right now just passing the pit entry. I believe Holly has it.
He did
and
it.
Now Holly pulls in right behind Reed.
He's done it. Holly's done it in the pits.
Oh man.
Wow. Quinn must have
John
really
Holly.
messed something up, because he's back behind Dan Brace right now.
Let me take a look. Quinn Smith had a 30-second time stop in the pits.
So he took tires.
So taking tires would have given you a 32-second pit stop. So he might not have clicked off repair damage.
Ooh, that is a mistake. That is a mistake. But again, it happens. Doesn't seem so. Jake Wells in chat. I suck at this. If you guys don't know, the newest legend in sim racing, Jacob No Limits Wells. Oh,
fix the picture-in-picture here. Do not touch anything. Let's see.
a little bit of technical issues in the truck.
There we go.
We got Holly chasing down JP Reed. JP seems like he snuck past Holly for that P2. Holly came out in P2, but JP managing to get himself ahead. Now, Holly has 15 minutes to try and hold off Dan Brace, who is 4.5 seconds behind. Holly having a look. Oh, really late braking.
Ooh, hits that sausage curb square in the center of the car. That is not going to help his exit out of the first chicane.
I think what he was doing, I think he recognized that he braked a little late and was just trying to avoid hitting JP. And JP knew what was happening, gave himself a little bit more room. So both doing a really good job of collision avoidance. People, this is how you do it. Okay, you make a mistake, you both try to be aware of it and try to give yourself just a little bit of room. Now, what I usually see happening, someone in JP's position was still trying to nail that apex, which is everyone's going to lose in that scenario. So really good heads up racing by both these drivers, both still alive, both still battling for that P2 position.
Yes, and plenty of time to reset and reevaluate, and then to reattack that rear bumper for that P2 position. But they have to be mindful. Dan Brace is right behind them, pulling decent times. He is a little bit. Dan Brace was a little bit faster that last time around by about a second.
You know what, Steven? I think our connection for the picture-in-picture is quite laggy, so we're just gonna turn it off here. But gonna
Okay.
still love the supportive commentary that you have here in the booth. Holly coming back at JP. So there is all of half a second between them, with the monster Camaro behind, getting as much as Vito as he can into T1. Look at that speed difference. It's like they're not even in the same class. Holly side by side. Gonna let JP by, but he's scoping. He's looking.
Yes, he is. And we have a battle here for P11 heating up between Milos Tansky and Potts Weaver. Unfortunately, Potts is struggling a little bit coming through Parabolica, allowing Milos Tansky to get a head start away. And a little bit further back, we have Aaron Miller attacking the rear bumper of Justin Beachley. Ooh, came in just a little too shallow and bumping himself off the track a little bit, allowing Justin Beachley to now pull away. But here's another little thing we got going on. Casey Schutte being sent all the way back to P12 or P14 at the beginning of this race has found his way back up into P7.
Almost there, Shooty. Finding home. Casey 60 trying to make his way back. Potts Weaver super close now. Where are you, Potts? There it is. And I think talking about Miller and Beachley, and we know Beachley's got the pace qualifying, what was it, P4, P5? Just being subject to a really unfortunate error by Dan Brace earlier on. Now trying to make his way back up through the grid.
Casey shoot for 6 Schutte.
Darren Thomas coming in with all of the puns.
Yeah, we could also go Casey's 6-shooter Schutte. Oh, Dan Brace going off at the first chicane, as well as John Hawley. What the heck? What just happened with John Hawley?
Let's go back and have a look. What is going on? Let's look at the replay here. A little bit of a flash of the lights. Something must have happened.
Ooh, gets into the grass, loses all that traction. Oh,
Oh,
no, and
no.
and Reed was involved too. Oh no.
Where's Dan going?
And Quinn Smith has now taken P2. Or did he? No, Reed is still in P2. But now he's under attack from Quinn Smith.
Oh my goodness. With 10 minutes to go. The drama, people. The absolute insanity of what is happening. I mean, this is racing. This is what you get. You just don't know until it's over. It's unreal. I think what I read of what just happened, no pun intended, is Holly tried a bit of a different strategy. Tried the outside, didn't work. Tried the outside, didn't work. Tried the outside, didn't work. So he snuck in on the inside this time. And unfortunately, the didn't work this time ended up in a contact. Looks like he pulled over a little bit to try and let JP through. But not only did he let JP through, he let Quinn Smith through. He let Dan Brace through. And yeah, that was a bit of a mistake by John, but I'm sure he will learn and grow from it for the next race.
Yeah, and unfortunately, dipping the tires into the grass did not help. I did see a little bit of a puff of tire smoke. Oh, as we have Justin Beachley and Potts Weaver involved in a crash.
No,
Oh,
not
at
Beachley
Curva Grande.
again.
This is at Curva Grande.
Leave Beachley alone. Or is it Beachley
Oh,
doing the
no, that
damage
was
this time?
Parabolica.
Oh no,
What
is he
happened
gonna
here?
break? Oh no. Just breaking a little bit too late.
Broke a little too late and tried stuffing the nose into a closing door.
That is unfortunate. Couple of positions swapped there through that mistake. Got a couple of battles going on still. Alex Freeman chasing down George Elmer within a second of each other. Beachley still hunting down Potts Weaver after that mistake. Mercedes power versus McLaren power here at Monza. But Quinn Smith, with less than 7 minutes to go, hunting down yet again JP Reed. JP trying to instill an offset, try to make sure Quinn doesn't bump him in the rear again.
Yeah, but also by doing that, he does not give Quinn Smith the toe coming down that straight, which has given him a better exit coming out of Parabolica.
Yeah, that was a pretty boss move on the outside there. Phenomenal to be able to have kept the grip.
JP Reed really throwing down the masterclass right here by taking these offline routes, not giving Quinn Smith the toe.
Indeed, trying to be a little bit defensive and not give the toe to double benefit from Mr. Reed there. The Australian driver trying to fend off for probably another 3 laps. Trying to fend off that
3 laps.
Monster Camaro that just
dips a tire into the grass.
Quinn has
Reed
the
dips a tire.
inside. Oh, bumps Quinn. Quinn doesn't even feel it.
Oh.
But what that does do is bring Dan Brace into the equation.
I honestly think Reed had a brown pant moment there as he saw the rear bumper of Quinn Smith.
For sure.
Very quickly closing in.
For sure. Absolutely. And you know, it's not the back of his pants that went brown, it's the front of his pants, considering he's down under and everything's upside down, but a brown pants moment nonetheless.
Oh, man. So further back into the field for P9, we have Jan Rodricks attacking Alex Freeman. Jan, I feel he's a little bit off pace here in this third race. He might be feeling a little bit fatigued from racing in those 2 races earlier. Not really throwing down the laps like he was in the rookie series.
I don't think it's that Jan's not throwing down the laps. I just think it's a much faster grid. You know, like we said earlier,
That's true.
A bit of a different field. And looking at Jan's position from, you know, battling for P1 to battling for P10, I think there was a bit of a contact at the start of the race as well that he had to deal with. But yeah, I mean, this field is just ridiculously quick.
And ridiculously quick as that battle for P2 is still boiling hot as Dan Brace is now trying to make a move coming into the second chicane. Thinks better of it and holds behind Reed. He's just waiting and waiting to see when he can make this move. As Quinn Smith goes a little bit wide coming through Lesmo 1. has a better entry and exit through Lesmo too, but Reed now is on the bumper of Quinn Smith, pulling a little bit of a gap to Dan Brace.
We're still watching the battle between Jan and Freeman. Let's get back to Reed, Dan, Quinn, all battling for P2, completely ignoring Ali Raza, who's in a different dimension. Ali who?
Yeah.
He came to Monza, he razzled, he dazzled.
He razzled, he dazzled, and he dropped times. Ooh, Dan Brace going wide into Parabolica right now.
That was nerve-wrackingly close.
And it looks like Jan Rodrigues has gotten around Alex Freeman now, as they're now making their entry into Parabolica.
Yeah, and I would guess JP has about 2 laps to try and make this move work, to not only try to get a position ahead, but also defend the position behind. Really needs an error from Quinn if he has any chance of trying to get that KTM past that monstrous Camaro.
Yes, and it will be one more lap. There'll be one more lap after this, as we now have Ali Raza coming down the back straight, heading towards Parabolica to take the white flag.
Yeah, I mean, this has been some incredible racing amongst these folks. Super impressive.
Leaders on final lap now.
And there's the call from race control. Leader is now on the final lap. Ali Raza has 1 minute and 56 seconds left for this race. And he just dropped his last lap was 156.6. His best here was a 155.8. So really miles ahead of the rest of the field. Everybody else is running 157s, 158s, 159s. So Ali Raza in another league of his own.
I think Ali there's a reason why he has the most championships of anyone at Trackalicious. Oh, Dan Brace getting the draft, going on the outside. Is it going to be enough? JP defending side by side.
Ooh,
That's tough.
I don't know if there was a little bit of a tap there, but Reed went off a little bit and lost the rear end of the car. It looked like getting pushed off to the right, but is maintaining that slipstream gap that he needs to really make one final attempt coming out of Ascari later on.
Yeah, it's been an incredible race for JP. Really tough. I think he's outperforming the car. That's the best way that I could put it. And Jaeger, hope you feel better. Sorry that you had to retire. Hydrate. Get yourself hydrated. Tough race. Hope you feel better. As
Hydrate and
Ali
knife
Raza
well.
finishes the race in the Canadian racing. Giving himself a little bit of a wiggle. But let's stick with this. Oh, bit of a wiggle. Speaking of which, Dan Brace has one at the exit of Ascari. Is it going to be enough for Reed to take that position back? He's quite some ways behind. He really needs to force Dan into an error here.
I don't unfortunately foresee Dan making that error as they're making their way through the second half of Parabolica. Coming out, and Dan Brace holds on to take home that P3 position, followed closely by James Reed.
Unreal driving. Incredible.
James Hawley taking home P5 with Reggie King P6. Casey Schutte, unfortunately, did not have the pace to catch up to Reggie King. Comes home in P7.
Roderick's really close to Elmer, but just not enough.
Yeah, George Elmer now coming across the line in P8. Jan Roderick's taking that P9, and Alex Freeman closing out our top 10.
Bye, Jake.
In that
Thanks
number
for stopping
14
by.
McLaren.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's awesome. Just I can't believe we had so much racing to watch. Just with these guys being so incredibly close to each other. Really, really, really cool. As I take us back into the studio, Mr. Tomazic. We have double Tomazics. Yeah.
We could get Ali Raza, Quinn Smith, and Dan Brace, I guess, into the green room for some interviews. That would be awesome.
It would be. After I fix some issues here.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get our into the booth here. And we're going to have to make this a quick interview. Let's see who we got in the green room.
Looks like Ali Raza has popped into the green room.
Ali Raza, if we could have Quinn Smith in here, if you're listening, Quinn. JP, if you're listening, love to have you in here as well. And Dan Brace. Oh, we got Dan Brace on the podium. Dan, you better come into the booth. We have a question for you. Everyone, reach out to Dan. Tell him to come into the booth. We have a question. Ali Raza, what an exciting race for you. So much action. Ali, if you could summarize your race in 5 words or less.
Oh, it was the nice, relaxing Monday night drive, you know?
Yeah, you enjoyed that one. We know you had a fantastic performance, a great job getting that P1. But let's dip down to Quinn Smith, who had to earn his P2 in this race. Quinn, how was that race for you?
It was good. It was good. I had fun. A lot of fun with it. I do want to say sorry to Reed. Definitely did not mean to hit him there. Not my intentions by any means. I just made a mistake.
We saw that. We saw all of it. But yeah, I mean, it's racing. You know, we recognize that it happens sometimes. We saw that you pulled over, lost that position, and a couple more after that as well.
Yeah, it was only fair to stay behind him. I hope he didn't get damaged from it. I couldn't see. But yeah, it was fun battling with him.
Excellent. Loved to see all of it. Good job. Do we have Dan Brace in here? No, we don't. Dan, come on. We got a question to ask you. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Steven, is there anything you want to say before we close the stream off?
Not really. It was just a lot of fun watching you all race. Quinn, very, very, very professional with dealing with your situation there with Reed. It made for a lot of entertainment. Ali Raza just running away with it once again tonight. Thank you both for racing with us tonight, and hoping to see you in the next race next week.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Fantastic job by all of you. A legend, Carbon, aka Danny Basin, hopping in chat. Welcome, Danny. Sorry, you're just catching us at the very, very tip of us about to leave. JP in chat with a couple of oofs. Yeah, that was a tough race, JP, but we were trying to cheer you on as best as we could. It was really fun to watch the battles for sure. You guys had really fun stuff going on. Let's see. Let's send it out to this person over here. Let's try to see if this works. Okay, there we go. All right, looks like someone is doing a little bit of ACCing at COTA. Everybody, really appreciate you guys hopping in and sticking around for such a long time for a fantastic evening of racing. Go say hi to whoever this is. Squid RL looks like doing a bit of coda, finding the limits. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the stream. Steven, thank you so much for your help today. I don't think I could have done this by myself. I think we kept under our 5 error limit of the stream. So a couple little hiccups here and there, but I think we did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, a couple little hiccups, but I think we made it through. We want to thank all of you for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you at the next one. See you later.
Have a good night, everyone. See ya.